Welcome to day 9 on our quest to overcome perfectionism, which is a leading cause of procrastination. Now, you might have noticed I've been offline for a while. I've had the flu repeatedly. I've been rather ill. I've had post-viral symptoms or time. It's taken me forever to fully recover from this flu, and it's been a month that I've been on and off, mostly not very well. So in my head, this has been this whole cognitive distortion thing going on with, oh, what if I never, become fully healthy again? I'm starting from scratch again. I feel like after I had COVID the first time, I have low energy. I can't even go the big round with the dog, just going shopping or cleaning my kitchen, and I need a 2-hour nap afterwards. And all those things going in my head. So I have so many things I want to do. I have so many goals I've set. And I'm living in a body that does not fully cooperate with what my mind really wants to do. So again, this whole cognitive distortion things, cognitive distortions are shortcuts our brain takes. If you go back a few videos, I talked about those apps, how our brain creates apps, and those cognitive distortions are apps we all have because our brain takes shortcuts. It wants to save energy. So it has generalizations of how the world works. And those cognitive distortions can be very helpful, but sometimes they can be quite the opposite of helpful. And this is what they're for me at the moment. So I will share my worksheet with you. If you would like to have the worksheet, find me on Instagram or LinkedIn or anywhere, and I'll send them to you. I will share my screen with you on my iPad because I think cognitive distortions are really important. Let me do that right now. Let me have some coffee. And then let's do this together. I will not fill it out, but we can go through it together, or you can just simply, no, I put on dark mode. Sorry. So here, 3, 2, 1, and here I'm sharing my screen with you. So cognitive distortions. So these are some of the most common cognitive distortions, and some of them are overlapping. So you will not always have all of them, or they're quite similar sometimes, but it's those small things that can make a big difference. So let's look where we fall into that kind of trap. And I will take my example of my thoughts the past 2 days where I felt emotionally rather low because I've been sick for so long and I didn't have the energy to do things, and not even coffee would help. So here we have black and white thinking, which is all or nothing thinking. So if you're really interested in them, I think there's a really good Wikipedia entry with a lot of cognitive distortions, way more than I have on the list here. And you can have a look at them. But here are some of the very common ones that we all fall into sometimes. So black and white thinking, that is all or nothing thinking. And the example I had here is, I never manage to do anything right. Everything always goes wrong for me. For me, the past few days, it was, I always get so sick. Why do I have to? No, that's not really black or white thinking. But yes, this, I always get so sick might have been one of those thoughts. Jumping to conclusions or mind reading. And maybe I'll just stick with the examples here. But look for your own examples in your current situation. I mean, there is a reason why you're watching this video, right? So you're dealing with perfectionism and procrastination. And so let's look at how that relates to any of those cognitive distortions. And so the next one we had, jumping to conclusions. Personalization is that you blame yourself. So our team only failed because of me, and my boss likes everyone else, but he just can't stand me. Then shall and must. So that is very much self-critical language that kind of increases the pressure, and that is one of my big ones, is I really need to get more disciplined, I need to work harder, I need to do better, I really need to lose weight, and I need to do so much more. And then is a mental filter. That is, you focus on the negative part of something. So maybe you're on a beautiful holiday, but just this one thing isn't great, and you just focus on the negative. And there, the example I put here on the worksheet is, I just don't sleep well enough. I'm not focused enough. So your whole life is good, but you focus on the one thing. And then overgeneralization is, for me again, it's like, I'm always sick. I always get this cold. My child has one little sniffles and I'm wiped out for 2 weeks. And honestly, I haven't been sick for so long. And so now I've had it, okay, way too long. But anyway, so overgeneralization. And then look where that fits for you. Where do you overgeneralize and you make yourself feel bad? Because remember, procrastination is a failure to mood regulate. And sometimes it can be due to the task that is ahead of you, but also in general, that maybe you just don't feel good at the moment, but you rather do something to make yourself feel good instead of doing the work that you need to do. So where do you overgeneralize? Where do you do black and white thinking? Where do you have a mental filter? So let's go to page 2. And again, you can screenshot it or send me a message on any social media. You can find me and I'll send you the file. And then magnification or minimization is where you make the bad things so big and you make the good things so small. That is, oh, I have this little spot on my shirt, so the whole shirt is bad now. Or I've had that in my math book way back when somebody called and said, oh, you have this one mistake in your math book, so the whole math book sucks. And then fortune telling is where we, think we can see into the future and say, hey, I will not do well in this exam, or I will not get this promotion because I never get it. So you can see you can mix and match too. I'm really good with cognitive distortions that I can do to make myself feel bad. And then comparison. It's where you just, and I've had that with my son when he was small. He felt like all other children have, one got a new iPhone, and the other one got the PlayStation, and the other one got the Nintendo, and the next one went to a fancy vacation into the Caribbean. So he felt like everybody else has everything and he doesn't. Or it's very easy if we go into social media, we see this snapshot of the lives other people have, and we think like, oh, they have this cool life and I don't. But we can't see behind the screen. We don't know what else is actually happening, and we definitely don't know how they felt about it. Okay, so the next one is catastrophizing, and that's the baby of fortune telling and all or nothing thinking. And that is like, I have this small sneeze and I think, oh, and I'm getting sick again. Or there's this weird noise in the house and you think, oh, and it's the water pipes will burst or something like that. Where we think of the worst possible things that could happen because it's just such a small thing. It's like, people will hate me because I have the spot on my shirt. And then labeling is something I do very easily, where I think like, oh, and I'm just not good enough. I'm just not smart enough. I'm just not the kind of person to do this or to create this. Yes. And then disqualifying the negative, positive. And I do that. I tend to do that too. That something good happens and I attribute it to luck instead of my work. And I think many of us do that. It works the other way too. But often when we don't feel good about ourselves, we have the thing like, oh, I did really good in this exam, but I got lucky because they were easy questions. And you minimize the work that you put into something. So keep in mind, those are just examples. Let me unshare my screen. Oops. So those are just examples of cognitive distortion, and many of us use them, and I think it's very helpful to become aware of them to just know, where does our brain use the apps that are just part of the human condition, and where do we use them against us? And where do we use them so that they're not useful for us? So remember, the apps are not good or bad. They're just not useful at the moment because we created them some other time for another situation, or when we were younger. And again, those cognitive distortions, they're just very general. Everybody has them. And it's just becoming aware of them. It's not that we don't need to battle them or anything. It's just becoming aware of it. It's same with procrastination. It's we don't have to fight against it or anything. We just need to become aware that our procrastination is a mood repair strategy. And same it's with perfectionism. This whole idea that we have is how we think we ought to be. But obviously, life is not that way. Life is never as perfect as an Instagram image from some influencer, because that's not life. Life is messy, and and that's what makes it beautiful. My living room isn't perfectly tidied up. My background for this video is not perfect like some other people with lights and everything, and I'm just recording it with my old iPhone. So anyway, so let's keep that in mind. And I know there's so many people that tell us to be kind to ourselves, but nobody tells us how. And this is why we're doing that. We're unkind to ourselves because our brain has those cognitive distortions and uses them because they save energy. And becoming aware of them automatically makes us kinder, because we realize, hey, this is just an app my brain runs to save energy. So let me become aware of it, and that automatically makes me kinder to myself and understanding this is just automatic. And I'm sorry I went on waffling on. So we will go and do our 3 minutes of something that is uncomfortable. And today, this is for me journaling and thinking about the goals I want to attain in 2025. And it's just, I've been procrastinating that for a while. Maybe you've watched some of my previous videos, and one of the reasons I started those videos is because I realized I've had the same goals since 2017. And I found ways to overcome this, and I've been consistently working towards my goals, except for the past few weeks because I had this flu. And in my previous version of myself, I would have just gone down a rabbit hole of feeling bad and feeling sorry for myself, instead of starting to slowly get stuff in order again and work towards my goal, and thus making myself feel better. So today I will take those 3 minutes and journal about my goals for this year. So if you would like to join me in the goals, let's do this together. If not, find something that you would have procrastinated because you expect it to be perfect. And for me, being an applied neuroscientist with a whole research background in goals and how they affect mental health, this is one of the things that has held me back. So I will set my watch to 3 minutes, and let's get going. Okay, so our 3 minutes are done. I wrote 5 lines and I started with, oh dear, goals for 2025. And this exercise is just writing down your thoughts. It's not sitting down and listing your goals. And I will make a video about my goal setting process, because I think many of us, we know we should have goals because somebody says we should have them and we don't know how to do that. So I will make a video about that very soon. So thank you so much for joining. See you tomorrow, and well done. You did your 3 minutes of doing something where you would expect yourself to be perfect, and on purpose. We do it without expecting to be perfect, or even leaving it unfinished and imperfect on purpose. So I will maybe later this evening continue that, but I will keep that slightly uncomfortable feeling of I started to write and I didn't finish it, because now I will go off and start editing this video for you. So see you tomorrow, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.